You're watching Camnet TV News. To present the news, my name is Banded Handy with the headlines. We shall not print money due to elections, VOWS. SACCORD commends PF-led government on positive memorandum. UNZA management accused outside forces of causing confusion at the institution. And in our international news, Ethiopian forces advance as TIGRAY vows to fight on. And in our sports news, FAS gives guidance on funds return to the stadium. Do join me with the details after this break.
Hello, Mother Zambia. I am your pastor on national matters. We look back and see in the history of this nation, Zambia is a great nation. When we as a nation are facing uncertainty and challenges that threaten our dignity, there are people around us that can help us think. And so on national matters, join me with His Honor, the former Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Enoch Kavindere. May God bless Zambia.
Have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. In our first news item, Lusaka City Mayor Miles Sampa is confident that Lusaka will achieve zero HIV infection by the year 2030. Speaking on Wednesday when he launched the city's fast-track action plan 2020, Mr. Sampa pressed emphasis on ensuring effective implementation in order to combat the pandemic. Mr. Miles says the local authority will take a proactive approach in gathering data on HIV at ward level in the view of tracking progress made towards the HIV fight. Let's get the details.
The Lusaka City Council has launched the city's fast-track action plan on HIV. The action plan, among other things, aims to reduce the number of new HIV infections, reduce the time from HIV diagnosis to ART initiation average from 10 days to 1 day, to improve treatment literacy and adherence for those living with HIV in the city, and also ensure access to timely, acceptable and affordable HIV care for marginalized communities and people living with HIV. The plan also aims to strengthen leadership and partnership between the Lusaka City Council, government agencies, and civil society organizations working on HIV/AIDS related services in Lusaka, and all these are to be completed by the year 2023. Lusaka Mayor Miles Sampa affirmed commitment to end HIV by the year 2030.
Lusaka, we want, starting 2020 this year, 10 years program, by 2030 we want zero HIV, zero AIDS in Lusaka. That's all we are here for, and that's what has been worked on, and not talk, the action, so that we know where to take the most help. I urge the Central Statistics Office to come up with word-based statistics on HIV in Zambia that enable local authorities to formulate evidence-based plans. I would also like to urge all partners to submit reports to the National AIDS Council, NAC, through their management and information system to enable them to capture HIV and AIDS activities occurring in different wards.
National HIV/AIDS STI TB Council Director General Dr. Connie Osborne has hailed the Lusaka City Council for taking a bold step to combat HIV in the city.
In spearheading the HIV response has been necessitated by two factors. First, at global level, the city of Lusaka is a member of a global partnership network of high HIV-burdened cities, which has embarked on the Fast Track Cities initiative, whose aim is to build, strengthen, and leverage existing HIV resources to accelerate locally coordinated responses aimed at ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030, in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, and might I add, in line with our Vision 2030.
UNAIDS Country Director Tasise Barihuta believes Lusaka, being the first city in Zambia to sign the Paris Declaration on Ending AIDS, it is certainly going to be the first city to meet and surpass the 999 treatment target at the end of this year.
We must leverage the fast-track cities approach to respond to the COVID-19 epidemic and work with all our mayors and the councillors towards reaching 90-90-90 and 90-95-95 treatment target in all our wards and communities.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
A Lusaka resident, Agnes Banda, who was abandoned by her husband for being HIV positive, regrets abandoning her plans of building a house on account that she will die early. Ms. Banda has been living with the virus for 13 years now. Ms. Banda, a teacher who turned 50 years in September, however, tells Camnet TV that she has realized that HIV is no longer a death sentence, as one can live a normal life for many years provided they adhere to treatment. At the age of 50, she has embarked on the construction of her dream house. More in this report.
In Zambia, the first HIV case was reported in 1988, and by 1991, the Zambia National AIDS Program recorded 15,000 cases, which accounted for 14% of the total deaths. AIDS became a deadly disease, and the victims of the pandemic were destined to die. It was the same reason that anyone diagnosed with the disease was stigmatized and discriminated. But due to research carried out by various scientists across the globe, HIV has become a chronic but manageable disease as people infected with the virus now live normal lives. Agnes Banda is among the about 1.2 million Zambians living with HIV, and her story reflects how bad people living with HIV were emotionally suffering. She was divorced by her husband upon being diagnosed with HIV.
Even if he did that, I got support from the above, special support from the living God, from Jehovah, who has sustained my life up to now. So I was tested in 2007, as I've said, and from 2007 to 2008, I lived a life of misery, because I was tortured by the same man who was my husband. At times he could just come home and ask me a question to say, "Hey, Han, how does it feel to be HIV positive? What has changed in your body?" Such a question when I had not yet come to terms with the status. I could only answer him with tears. And even then you would say, "You are just wasting your tears. My decision is fine." At times you would say, "So you usually use a sea. Nyanja osakayondo zasira ukagona pa bed monga pa blanket chaba." Now you imagine such things. It was so miserable.
Agnes Banda, who has lived with the virus for 13 years, tells this journalist that it is not a coincidence but adherence to treatment and observing a good diet.
And most importantly, there are things that I do, like following the medication, the way the doctors have advised me to be taking the medication. Even the food that I eat, I don't eat anyhow. I don't eat junk foods. I try by all means to eat health.
And Ms. Banda is happy that through efforts by the government and its partners, she has been able to access drugs.
I've been on art for the past 13 years. There's never been a day I went without a tablet. People might fabricate, the stories, there are no drugs, people are going without ARVs. That's a blue lie. Yes, there could be shortages at times, but the health practitioners know how to ration.
She also needs help to complete her house.
Our plans are not God's plans. His plans are higher than ours. His thoughts are higher than ours. I might go reach retirement, then I'll have nowhere to live. So that's why I decided to start building that house. So I'm appealing for well-wishers, those who can help me complete. The major part which is remaining is the roofing.
The bottom line is that now you can live a healthy, positive life because HIV is no longer a death sentence. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
ActionAid Zambia is concerned over the worsening credit ratings, which indicate dwindling prospects to attract future financing and consequences and penalties arising from debt default. Fitch Ratings, a credit rating agency, already downgraded Zambia to almost junk status after the government sought to delay interest payment to bondholders in September 2020. ActionAid Zambia Country Director Nalucha Zibas notes that as a developing country, Zambia needs to attract sustainable foreign investment which responds to the economic needs of the country. Meanwhile, Ms. Ziva is concerned that Zambia defaulted on its interest payment on the $3 billion Euro bonds as of Friday, 30th November 2020, after bondholders rejected the government's request for 6 months interest payment relief. She has since urged government to re-engage bondholders regarding the 6 months interest payment relief.
Developing country, Zambia needs to attract sustainable foreign investment which responds to the economic needs of the country. However, with a poor credit rating, this will affect investor confidence and eventually lead to capital flight. This may further weaken the economy by possible contraction of GDP as well as currency depreciation. We would therefore like to urge government to re-engage bondholders regarding the 6 months interest payment relief. Our hope is that bondholders reconsider the status quo and demonstrate a measure of humanity and recognize the suffering that this action will inflict on millions of Zambians, more especially women and children who are already living in poverty. The vulnerable Zambians are the big losers in this case, as government will further be handcuffed in providing any gender-responsive public services due to the rejection by bondholders to grant Zambia a debt interest payment relief. It is our considered view that the debt relief will be necessary to ensure that most vulnerable Zambians do not suffer the consequences of the country's debt mismanagement amidst COVID-19. On the other hand, the Zambian government must also genuinely seek to address some of the issues and concerns raised by bondholders, such as lack of transparency regarding Chinese loans and government not having a clear strategy on public debt management. Chinese lending institutions, whether state-run or quasi-commercial, should clearly state how much they have lent to government and the loan terms and conditions involved. The Zambian government should also be more transparent on its borrowing and finances and provide a clear strategy on public debt management, which is key in assuring lenders our commitment towards debt sustainability. Most importantly, we would like to remind the government that inasmuch as seeking debt interest payment relief seems to be the only way to go for Zambia, it is, however, suffice to note that this is not enough. Government should also explore and pursue a more sustainable path of restoring fiscal discipline, commitment to good economic governance with zero tolerance to corruption.
The Ndola City Council has assured transporters and traders that operate at the Mulungushi bus station that their concerns of unfair treatment after a developer embarked on a construction of offices and a bus shelter on one part of the station will be addressed. Ndola Mayor Emon Chisenga has told the affected groups operating from Mulungushi bus station that the Memorandum of Understanding MOU between the Ndola City Council and Likili bus services will be halted and reviewed in order to find a solution to suit both parties. Mr. Chisenga in the company of the Deputy Mayor Kennedy Kasaba, Ndola Town Clerk Cosmas Chalusa, and management of the council addressed the group at Lowentho Theatre on Wednesday morning. The mayor says the council will look into the matter so that concerns raised by the transporters are addressed. He says it is unfortunate that when Likili bus services started the construction works, some mobile money boats were removed by the developer without prior notice. This is contained in a statement issued to Camnet TV News by Ndola City Council Public Relations Manager Rebecca Mushota.
To every problem, we must find a solution. Our town clerk, Deputy Mayor, if any development in the city of Ndola is going to raise a lot of conflicts, it means the people are not happy. So what is important for the town clerk is that we need to relook on the issue of Likili, how he was given and for what purposes, because we cannot have people complaining when we think this person wants to develop. What is important for us is that this is why even in the Bible, Jesus died for us. For the good of many people, one person died. It becomes a problem. If people are affected by our development, it means there is a problem. We are going to do the following today. Wake the Niku station, wake as if nothing happened yesterday. Valikiri is going to be informed by our town clerk now to surrender every document that he has council.
The Southern African Center for Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACCORD, has commended government for approving a cabinet memorandum for Zambia to voluntarily subject itself for assessment on a structural vulnerability that the country has where conflict, peace and security is concerned. SACCORD Executive Director Boniface Chambers says Zambia becomes the third country in the continent to voluntarily participate in the Continental Structural Vulnerability Assessment of the African Union, taking on board other processes which include the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, Early Warning, COM1 system. Mr. Chembe notes that Zambia's approval to be subjected is a strong indicator and desire for the country to build a strong and resilient society against conflict and other vulnerabilities. He says this means that Zambia will start this assessment process way before going into the 2021 general elections.
SACCORD commends the government of the Republic of Zambia for approving a cabinet memorandum for Zambia to voluntarily subject itself for assessment on the structural vulnerabilities that the country has where conflict, peace and security is concerned. Zambia becomes only the third country on the continent to voluntarily participate in the Continental Structural Vulnerability Assessment of the African Union, taking on board other processes which include the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Early Warning System. Zambia's approval to be subjected to the CSVR is a strong indicator in the desire for the country to build a strong and resilient society against conflict and other vulnerabilities. This is more so considering that Zambia will start this assessment process way before going into the 2021 general elections. Zambia has developed a reputation as an oasis of peace, and the participation in processes, in such processes only mean that the country continues to work hard for our peace without being complacent with the assistance of those who care for Zambia's peace.
A Zambia police officer in Kabombo district of Northwestern Province has gunned down himself in unclear circumstances. The shooting took place at Kabombo police station around 15 hours on Tuesday. The officer, identified as Constable Shiloto Justin, allegedly shot himself with a firearm and died on the spot. Police in Solwezi have since launched investigations into the incident. The body of the deceased is lying in the mortuary awaiting burial. Meanwhile, police in Zambezi district of Northwestern Province have received a report of sudden and unnatural death in which a 9-year-old grade 2 pupil of Manyengu Primary School near Chilikiti village was killed by a crocodile while swimming with her friends in the Zambezi River. The deceased, identified as Chiteta Mushinga, was swimming in the river when the crocodile caught her and dragged her into the deep waters. The body has not yet been found and the search has continued. This is according to a statement made available to Camnet TV News by police spokesperson Esther Mwachakatongo. And in other news, the Zambia Medicines and Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, has continued to press for sanity in the dispensation of medicines countrywide by conducting inspections. In this regard, the authority, working with law enforcement agencies, have apprehended 7 people of Chilawombe district on the Copperbelt province for operating pharmacies without certificates of registration, contrary to Section 14(1) of the Medicines and Allied Substances Act No. 3 of 2013. The sale of medicines without a certificate is a jailable offense of up to 1 year simple imprisonment or a default fine of 3,000 kwacha.
7 people of Chilabombe district, Copperbelt province, have been arrested for operating a pharmacy without a certificate of registration, contrary to Section 14, Subsection 1 of the Medicines and Allied Substances Act No. 3 of 2013. These include Gloria Mwepia, female aged 23, Elias Mwango, male aged 46, Amos Mwape, male aged 30, and Lavenda Chiluba, female aged 26. Others include Clementina Chila, female aged 21, Elias Nsonda, male aged 36, and Charity Chalisam, female aged 36. The 7 have since been detained at Chilawembe police station and will appear in court soon. This came to light during a surveillance inspection directed towards curbing the sale of medicines and allied substances in unregistered outlets undertaken by the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, in collaboration with officers from the Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, on 9th November 2020.
We do take a set of commercials and return on more news stories. Do stay with us.
Time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
We all miss the days we would play outside, go to school, and visit fun places. But now, we all have to take care to prevent the coronavirus. Viruses are really tiny particles that we can't see with just our eyes, so we need to keep ourselves safe by practicing good hygiene, such as washing our hands with soap and clean water regularly. We can also use hand sanitizer to keep our hands clean. It's also important for us to keep our bodies and surroundings clean. We must also avoid handshakes, hugs, and standing close to other people in public places. This is called social distancing. The coronavirus has affected millions of people around the world, so we need to stay safe. In the meantime, we can keep ourselves busy by reading a book, watching TV, and doing some schoolwork. There's so much we can do indoors. Stay safe, stay home, and prevent COVID-19. We're all in this together.
This advert is sponsored by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua, the Healing Word Ministries International.
Starting on the 3rd to 6th December 2020.
Dr. Francis Miles from the USA returns to Zambia for a conference on issuing restraining orders.
Because you see, God responds to your revelation. So if you approach God as the healer, He heals you. If you approach Him as your shepherd, He will touch your soul. But if you approach Him judicially, He will show you He's the cause.
Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Time,
17 hours to 19 hours from Thursday to Saturday.
And on Sunday from 09 hours to 11 hours. For more details, call +260 962 965 883. You do not want to miss this conference this time.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with our news items. Bank of Zambia Governor Christopher Mvunga says the central bank will not be forced to print any money prior to the 2021 general elections, as is reported by some sector in society. The governor says an election is never a criteria used by the bank to increase money supply in the economy, but that economic activities backed by commerce and trade. He has since urged members of the public to desist from issuing false information that undermines the work of the bank. He was speaking during the Monetary Policy Committee media briefing on Wednesday morning. Meanwhile, the Monetary Policy Committee has maintained the fourth quarter policy rate at 8% in order to moderate risk to financial stability and support growth. More details in this report.
Well, it has become a fact that Zambia has become one of an African countries to default on its loan repayment since the outbreak of the corona pandemic. The Monetary Policy Committee has decided to maintain the fourth quarter policy rate at 8% to moderate risk of financial stability and support growth, lives and livelihoods. Bank of Zambia Governor Christopher Mvunga, however, says the decision on further policy rate will be guided by inflation forecast, outcomes and identified risk, including those associated with financial stability and the COVID-19 pandemic.
So, the monetary policy decided to maintain the monetary policy rate at 8%. So there's been no change in the policy rate. These decisions were necessary to safeguard the stability of the financial sector and to mitigate the adverse effects of COVID-19 pandemic on people's lives and livelihoods. Inflation is forecast to average 16.7% in the fourth quarter of 2020. In 2021, it is expected to decline to 13.5% and further to about 10% in 2022 on an annual average basis. Gross international reserves declined by $112 million to 1.3 billion kwacha. $1.3 billion, equivalent to 2.3 months of import cover. At the end of September, from 1.4 billion at the end of June, equivalent to 2.3 months import cover as well. Despite the decline in the level of reserves, The months of import cover remained unchanged due to the drop in imports of goods and services attributed to subdued economic activity and the depreciation of the kwacha. So in short, an election event is not a trigger for printing of money by the Bank of Zambia. It's nowhere near the Bank of Zambia criteria. So we will not print money because of elections. Let me also make it very clear. One of the jobs of the central banks is to print money. And as I said, to support commerce and trade. So it needs to be backed by economic activity in order to increase money supply in the system. We will not print money for the sake of an election. We will print money at any given time in point as long as it's supported by commerce and trade.
In the last two sittings, the committee reduced the policy rate by 222 basis points in May 2020 and a further 125 basis points in August of 2020, bringing the monetary policy rate to 8%.
University of Zambia Senate says it will not tolerate the behavior exhibited by some students who were caught in the protests on Tuesday evening. UNZA Vice-Chancellor Professor Luke Mumba says the University of Zambia does not operate in a vacuum, but has a budget that needs to be met in order for the institution to remain functional. He says if students refuse to pay their school fees, then the operations of the institution will be greatly affected. The Chancellor has also refuted claims that his office was on Tuesday evening burnt by some protesting students. More in this report.
Prior to some reports that the Vice-Chancellor's office at the University of Zambia has been set on fire by protesting students after management said it will not allow them to settle for their exams without finishing paying their school balances. The Camnet TV news crew that visited the Vice-Chancellor's office this morning found that the office was intact and nothing was burnt. University of Zambia Vice-Chancellor Professor Luke Mumba has sent a warning to students who have been engaged in the protest, saying he will not condone such behavior.
We do not operate in the vacuum. We don't ask for these fees just for the sake of asking them. We have a budget to run the university. This budget is approved by government. And this budget has the components. A certain component coming from student fees, 60%. Government grant, 30%. Fees, monies from self-generated revenue from our business ventures, 10%. The total, 100%. So, if students do not pay, like they are refusing to pay now, it means that we can't manage our budget, we can't manage our operations. Put in simpler terms, we can't pay for electricity, water, we can't pay salaries, because outside the budget, nobody pays the salaries. We pay the salaries within the budget. We need this money to run the operations of the university. And from our perspective, we are very grateful. Government has paid. There's also been stories in the media that government has not given UNZA their money. No, government has met all its obligations to the students that they sponsor. Those that are 100%, 50%, 75%, the government has paid all their fees to UNZA. Government has also paid all the grants. The 200 million kwacha grant to UNZA has been paid. But remember that the fees are the major, they constitute 60%. That's why we need to collect the fees. But also we have identified people are not students, infiltrators, troublemakers, who just want to cause problems in the university. Those who are dealing with them, the arson, the starting of a fire, that's a criminal offense. We thank God the fire did not come up to destroy the building.
Since the closure of the institution in April this year, some first-year and second-year students at the University of Zambia have not been engaging in physical learning. And when asked, Professor Mumba had this to say.
We are a very listening administration. We have listened to students' complaints and we are aware of those. So what we have done is that at the moment, we have all the graduating students, final year students, and other years. They have been learning face-to-face, but also their exams are being done face-to-face. So we want this group to finish their exams at the end of this month, so that 1st of December, all those who are still at home, learning via e-learning, first years and second years mostly, they should come for 1 month, do some face-to-face learning, do some assessments, and write an exam. And we have given very flexible conditions to the schools, that you don't have to give the normal usual exam. You determine yourselves, depending on how you view the preparedness of your students.
Like the VC has said, these are our first year, second year. We still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
So whatever deficiencies have happened because of COVID, we still have enough time to make up, because by the time they will be graduating 4th year, 5th year, 6th year.
Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News. The Ministry of National Development Planning Permanent Secretary Chola Chavala says the country is working towards transforming into knowledge society that will rely more on quality statistics and data to formulate well-informed policies and plans, as well as make desired decisions based on concrete evidence. Speaking during the launch of the joint cooperation project between the Zambian Statistics Agency and Statistics Sweden, Mr. Chavala says the overall objective of the joint venture is to enhance statistical capacity, to ensure production of timely, demand-driven and quality and data for policy formulation. He adds that this will strengthen the national system and improve the range of the quality production. Meanwhile, the country has joined the rest of the continent in celebrating African Statistics Day, which falls annually on the 18th of November.
I'm glad to inform you that working with the UN system and the World Bank, and of course Statistics Sweden, the UNFPA and other cooperative partners, we are adopting an integrated approach to surveys. This will greatly reduce the cost of producing statistics in the country. We are also promoting partnerships among various statistical agencies. I'd like to pay special tribute to the various partners for their financial and technical support towards the development of statistics in the country, particularly, like I indicated, the UN agencies, USAID, DFID, the IMF, ADB, AU, GIZ, CEDA, and Paris 21. Ladies and gentlemen, as a demonstration of the importance of partnerships in improving the production of statistics and its use, today we witnessed the launch of a joint cooperation between the Zambian Statistics Agency and Statistics Sweden. The overall objective is to enhance statistical capacity in ZamStats and to ensure production of timely, demand-driven and quality statistics and data for policy formulation. And this could not have come at a better time than now, when we have embarked on the formulation of the 8th National Development Plan. The specific areas of support are: number one, strengthening the national statistical system, improve the range and quality of statistical production, improved user access and understanding of existing statistics, and a robust ICT environment that supports efficient production of statistics.
Meanwhile, Interim Statistician General Mulenga Musepa has disclosed that the pilot census is currently underway at a scale of 40% and is expected to be completed in December this year. Mr. Musepa says once the pilot census is completed, government will start with the main census despite some delays in starting it, and the pilot census will help government to ensure that it enables the system. He adds that government managed to finish the mapping and listing of the census in September this year, which covered 116 districts in the entire country. He says the mapping and listing of census was staggered in 3 phases, which covered Lusaka, Copperbelt, Eastern, Luapula, Northwestern, and Western Province,
Central, Muchinga, Northern and Southern provinces. He disclosed that the delays in the process to start the main census is because of the challenges government faced, among them being the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have to start now planning for the main census in terms of the human resource and any other challenges that we may be expected to rectify them and so on and so forth. Now I should mention that we had a few challenges. Not insurmountable. When we started the mapping and listing, we had very heavy rains. The rain season last year, 2019-2020, was quite good for tourism, good for hydropower generation, but again it also affected our operations. We had difficulties in access to work areas, and thereby reducing the mapping and listing period. And this was basically in Northwestern Province, Western Province, we had the Eastern Province, and Timopla Province, where certain areas were flooded, and we could not access them using what we had planned for, like vehicles, even motorbikes could go. We had to try and use what the locals were using, like dugout boats, but that actually delayed that. The next challenge was there was a time we had security incidences, and the first phase of the mapping and listing, and the gassing incidences. That also delayed the work. In certain areas, we had to withdraw our enumerators on the advice of the district officials that we continuously engage to advise us.
The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has fined Extra 24 Limited for false representation and failing to provide services with reasonable care and skill within a reasonable time. The conduct is in violation of Section 46 as read together with Section 45 and Section 45A and 45B and Section 49(5) of the Competition and Consumer Protection Act. The Director Consumer Protection, Naomi Fulaza, explains that the decision to fine Extra 24 Limited, a company dealing in the supply of building materials, was made during the 46th Board of Commissioners meeting for the adjudication of cases held in Lusaka on the 30th of October 2020. She says this was after an exhaustive investigation by the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission following numerous complaints it received from consumers alleging that the company has been failing to deliver building materials on agreed dates despite receiving payments for the materials and their delivery. Ms. Fulaza says the investigations revealed that Extra 24 Limited was misleading consumers by engaging in unfair trading practices, therefore necessitating the board's decision to charge the company 0.5% of its annual turnover. The Commission has advised members of the public to continue being cautious when dealing with Extra 24 Limited and those would-be victims.
The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has fined Extra 24, a company dealing in the supply of building materials, 0.5% of its annual turnover. The decision to fine Extra 24 was made during the 46th Board of Commissioners meeting, which was held on the 30th of October 2020 in Lusaka. The Commission had received a number of complaints from members of the general public against Extra 24 for failing to deliver building materials on agreed dates despite receiving payments for their materials and their delivery. The investigations by the Commission revealed that Extra 24 was misleading consumers by not providing a service within reasonable care and skill. The Commission wishes to advise members of the general public to continue being cautious in their dealings with Extra 24. We also would like to encourage members of the general public who have similar complaints to come through to the Commission.
We do take our last set of commercials and return with more news stories. Do stay with us.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, I'm wondering. You know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish! You're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin! Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
City University of Science and Technology is inviting application for January 2021 intake in the following programs: degree programs, Bachelor of Science in Public Health, Science and Environmental Health, Secondary Education, Primary Education, Early Childhood Education, Business Administration, Computer Science, Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Diploma programs, Diploma in Secondary Teachers Education, Early Childhood Education, Registered Nursing, Clinical Medicine, Diploma in Teaching Methodology, Pre-University Foundation Program, Mode of Study, Full-Time E-Learning and Open and Distance Learning. For more details, you can contact 0977 457915, 0977 372941 or 0963 918834. City University of Science and Technology, Center and Halls of Excellence.
Hello, Mother Zambia. I am your pastor on national matters. We look back and see in the history of this nation, Zambia is a great nation. When we as a nation are facing uncertainty and challenges that threaten our dignity, there are people around us that can help us think. And so on national matters, join me with His Honor, the former Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Enoch Kavindere. May God bless Zambia.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact +260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Welcome back. In our international news stories, Ethiopia's forces have captured 2 towns in the northern region of Tigray, where soldiers loyal to the local political party are fighting the central government. Tigray's leader confirmed the losses but said it was a temporary setback and vowed to defeat the government. Ethiopia's prime minister has said that his army is advancing towards Tigrayan capital, Mekelle. Hundreds of people are reported to have died in the 2 weeks of clashes. Verifying information from Tigray is hard due to a blackout on most communications. The conflict is rooted in long-standing tension between powerful regional party, the Tigray People Liberation Front, and Ethiopia's central government. Here's a BBC update.
ولا شفت كده بس جينا لنا الراجل وانا مش ما بعرف انا عسي كان زيه بفتش بس ما قال الجو انا ما بعرف انا لحد هسي
والله انا زي ده ما عرفت انا لكن بالشفاعه هو عملوا كان في ماتوا شديد ماتوا والله اي ماتوا قالوا بعدين قالوا يلا طلعوا مش اي محل كله طلع هاي والله
We do take a look at what we have in our sports news. In our sports news item, the stadium for all games that are hosted under the auspices of with clubs needing to abide by strict guidelines. This is according to a circular by VOWS General Secretary Adrian Kashala addressed to club secretaries unveiled to Zamfoot crew. The statement goes on to say, however, all matches must be organized and played under the guidelines by the Ministry of Health and governed by S1, 21 and 22. Clubs will have to implement a number of guidelines without fail, including social distancing, hand washing, masking up and no mixed zone rule and the like. The following must be observed. Last week, the government of the Republic of Zambia finally gave a green light to allow the fans to return to the stadium for an ongoing 2020-2021 football session. The fans have been out of the stadium since March following the surge in coronavirus cases that forced the Football Association of Zambia to halt the league before resuming in August and finally ending it prematurely. The story is courtesy of Zamfoot Sports. And in other sports news item, the Professional Golfers Association of Zambia has set itself apart for the betterment of golf in the country. The association this weekend from the 20th to 21st will host the SACCORD Invitation Tournament at Bonanza Golf Club as the season comes to an end in a rather inspirational fashion. World Vision has partnered with PGAZ to help the younger generation of players reach their desired dreams in the sport. Speaking about the forthcoming tournament, the PGAZ media chairperson Alfred Tamba explains more in this report.
We're here and something exciting lined up this weekend, 3 days of exciting golf. But the biggest reason why we're here, we've got the SACCORD Invitational that's going on this weekend. So it's 3 days, 20th, 21st and 22nd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And our interesting partner this time, is World Vision. And the angle that World Vision has come in is a junior challenge to support education for juniors. We always say junior golf is the future of this game, and what more, we want to actually encourage the youngsters with school coupled with the game, and this is the best way in which we can achieve that. So World Vision has come on board with the mentality and the sole mandate to actually support junior golf, and that's very encouraging. Outside the ordinary now. So the local pros will be hitting it out with the top amateurs, but we've got an interesting cherry on the top. We've got pros from Senegal coming in, and also another pro from Malawi coming in. So these guys will just spice up and put other guys, the local guys, to test. Course is looking beautiful. It's looking amazing, and I think this is the best time. It's build up to the year end. I think people are calling it the last major of the year. Okay, and so it's going to be exciting golf, I think, over the next 3 days. Obviously, we will not be here without our sponsors. We established this with the aim of improving the performance of our local pros. So there's been so much talk about our local pros performing poorly in the Sunshine Tour when we host tournaments here, when tournaments are hosted in the country. So we said they need more game time, more competitive opportunities to compete against each other. And so this has been a trend. So we started off with the one in Nkana, which was organized by the PGAZ in the north. Then came the north versus south at Lusaka Golf Club. Then we had our Chilanga, the BMG Invitational. We went back to Nkana Golf Club and had the Indie Credit Invitational. And we're here for the final event of the year under PGAZ, and this is the SACCORD Invitational in partnership with World Vision Zambia. So you can see the frequency of events that we've staged together. And this is just giving pros that mental fortitude to actually be a better competitor. And this is exactly how it will build up, and we open the gates. Come 2021, we'll be opening up more invitations to international pros to come and participate, to give the local guys more stiff edge and just more pedigree to be the best golfers they can be.
We have come to the end of the news. Before we go, a recap of our headlines. We shall not print money due to elections, BOZ. SACCORD commends PF-led government on positive memorandum. UNZA management accused outside forces of causing confusion at the institution. And international news, Ethiopian forces advanced as Tigray vows to fight on. And in our sports, FAS gives guidance on fans' return to the stadium. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Job 11, verse 17 to 19, and it reads, "Your life will be brighter than noonday. Its darkness will be like the morning. You will be confident because there is hope. You will look carefully about and lie down in safety. You will lie down without fear, and many will seek your favor." Thank you so much for joining me on Camnet TV, which is just not another channel. My name is Banda Tandiwe. Thank you so much for watching.